Strange was starting to. He spawned the Durango, and I spawned the. I came in and started spawning the vehicle. I was about to spawn the Vic, and he spawned that thing. Now he's dancing. Who's even on the server right now? Yeah, it's Jesse James. Dancing. So. Yeah, you can't give me the numbers for the male pet. That's not gonna be like. It's not gonna work. I just kind of have to remember what the outfit was. Can I command though? Jesse James can I command though? So. I just the numbers for that's gonna be useless. Like, I gotta solo it and remake my pad. I do have the videos of before, so I recorded that before, so I could easily just look up the videos and do it that way. Oh, I'm tired. I'm get this training done. Just waiting for something to happen. I would have casted the handler over here. About to find out. Carson's a handler too, so. I don't have the dog pet saved. I feel like I should. I don't have a dog, so. For the name of it. We should do both, so. That's true. It's time. Should be moved in soon. Well. It's only 5 minutes, goody. Oh, who joined? My button would work. Then I find this out now.
Error.
Yes, I know there's an error. There we go. Yeah, what's up?
Hi.
What's up?
You're going to move up to training 1.
User left your channel. Channel switched.
Alrighty. Oh, what the fuck? Where'd Carson go?
I'll go see if he's there.
Channel switched.
Carson! Carson, TeamSpeak. Carson. Carson.
Channel switched.
No response yet. Carson, hello. I'm talking to you in game. You can join the TeamSpeak 1 room, the training room 1.
Marshall.
Buddy. Buddy. You say you might have went to the washroom?
No, I said, oh shit, that's Marshall. I switched to the wrong status.
It's all good.
God, I fucking hate the Durango.
Why do you hate it so much?
It's just the soccer mom van.
The soccer mom van.
Oh yeah.
Minivans are soccer mom vans, like the Grand Caravan shit.
I would not mind placing fucking plastic explosives
User
on
joined
this
your
thing.
channel.
There we go. Hello, Carson.
Yeah, sorry about
Alrighty, welcome to the training. This might be a little cancerous because I haven't done a training since I was a supervisor, or even before that because I was lazy. So, might be a little sketchy, but we'll see how this goes. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so, obviously both you guys you're both canine handlers, correct? Let me just
10-4.
double check.
Yeah, we both checked. Carson's and me
Yeah.
are both handlers.
Okay, so since you guys are both handlers, you don't really have to worry about this, so I'll say it just so you know, and just so you can remind your canine before you guys go on patrol. But when you do go on patrol, make sure both of you guys have standard armor on. It also protects you and your canine from stray bullets, that kind of stuff like that. It gives you a little extra toughness, as well as have your canine have no ragdoll on to prevent ragdolling. I will see, which it's kind of hard to show, but I will show you a little example. So, a lot of times what happens, which is, with my luck, it's most likely not going to happen, but a lot of times when you do try to get out of the vehicle, you'll just kind of flop over and die.
I missed that vehicle if you want to get in the back left and try to fall out.
Yeah.
Can I in?
Alright, so a lot of times when you'll try to go out of the vehicle, or when you'll try to like climb a hill or some shit like that, you'll just kind of flop out and ragdoll like that. So super easy way to fix that is to go into player options, and then turn over ragdoll on. And that obviously prevents your canine from ragdolling. So make sure you're not using it since you guys are handlers, you don't really have to worry about it, but make sure your canine's using it. So again, that's something you and your canine handler, or you and your canine dog discuss before the patrol. Just make sure he has ragdoll on. Alright, another thing in here that isn't in here but should be in here is the bite. Alright, so a lot of times the bite breaks. It's a super common thing that happens. Sometimes it doesn't break, sometimes it breaks, but a lot of times if you go and spawn your canine pet, a lot of times, oops, let me go back to mine. A lot of times if you spawn your canine pet, the bite will be broken and you won't be able to bite anything. So to fix that, super easy fix. You have to be clocked in, obviously. So super easy fix, there's a lot of different fixes that people have and they claim mine is somehow hard. But Kitty, if you just want to go into a dog pet, or a human pet rather.
So right now I'm trying to bite and I can't bite you because the bite command's broken right now. So
Yeah.
the easiest solution is to change pets completely and change back.
Pretty much. What I found works is, like if Katie goes into a human pet or something like that, yes, so it doesn't work well. But if you go into like a human pet and then I cuff you and uncuff you, then it should work. Now go into a dog pet. Yeah, okay, so that's the thing that's worked for me every single time, so I'd recommend you guys use it as well. Okay, max 4 canine units available at one time, 1 unit to 4 officers. So what that means is there can be 2 canine units in each RTO, so that means 1 handler, 1 dog. Yeah, so there can be 4 units available at one time. So if it's combined RTO, 4 units in the combined RTO, separated RTO, 2 units in 2 units in south and 2 units in north. Right. And yeah, canine dogs and handlers may use standard armor as well. Okay, let's go over the basic canine commands. So the basic canine commands are obviously pretty basic. They consist of, wait, oh shit, where do they go? They consist of stay, heal, search, bite, in and out. Right. So I will go over a quick little example since Katie you offer if you want to switch over to the canine pad.
I do not have the right uniform on. You want green with the police, the other police one
It's fine for now.
for sheriff, and then the black one would state for
Oh,
the
yeah,
state.
That's another thing. When you start your canine patrol, before you start rather, you should discuss with your canine what their name is going to be, or if it's just going to be canine, so like canine heal, or if it's going to be Katie heal or something like that. So again, that's just something you and your handler decide, as well as if you're running APD or sheriff or state patrol. So for this instance, we're going to be running state patrol.
Tested.
Let's okay. So Katie heal. Katie sit. Katie heal. Okay. Right, Katie in.
So if it starts doing this, don't mind. The dog is trying to get in.
Yeah. Katie out.
Make sure to put your seatbelt on when you're a dog too. You can also fly out of the vehicle.
That's happened way too many fucking times. Okay. And then Katie bite. Sorry, Kirsten. Okay. So you got the gist of it. So if Katie, you want to go back to your regular pet, I'm going to change you to a dog pet. And basically what you're going to do is you're just going to execute every single command in office to your best of your abilities. Oops, that's not canine pet. There we go. Alright, Katie, if you want to go first.
Canine in. Canine out. Canine heal. Canine stay. Canine sniff. So it's gonna be done. Is you're gonna do like a slash me. Yeah, canine sniffs. If it's the more descriptive you are about the vehicle description, or like black sedan, black fugitive, sniffs vehicle. Yeah. And if it's long range, you're gonna do slash GME and be like black fugitive with license plate Bob or whatever license plate. I know it's not that, but license plate whatever it is at Sandy Airfield, or like say last 1080 in North. You want to be as descriptive as possible. So then what the person's going to do is the person's going to respond. So the dog's supposed to be sniffing for drugs and weapons. So when the dog detects drugs or weapons, what they do is they either sit down or you can bark.
Yeah, when you guys get access to the regular canine channel, you'll see M. Kingstone posted a pretty detailed and pretty good list of pre-made little things you can type in. So for instance, /me canine dog sniff, vehicle for alcohol, drugs, etc. What is the canine sniff? Stuff like that, just some pre-made stuff. I also made a little sheet that I can send you guys for the training. For now, we're really not going to go too much into detail for the sniff command because we will be doing that later in the multiple different later scenarios. So for now, we're just going to focus on the other canine commands.
Canine heal. Canine bite.
Please don't. No.
By the way, canine bite, canine help is pretty much the same thing.
Anyway.
Canine in. Like it means the same response. It means to pretty much attack.
Yeah.
Canine out. Canine stay.
Perfect. Okay. Carson, if you want to go next.
Yeah. Canine in.
Oh, so by the way, in canine, the dog must not do anything before you say it to do something. The dog will not do anything before you say it to do something.
Canine out. Canine heal. Canine stay. Canine search.
We don't really have to wait on the canine stuff. Let's go.
Canine sit.
I forget what the sit is, like /E, what is it, like?
I think it's like slash
No,
E
they.
canine sit, right?
Cause I know they
They
changed,
built
they
it.
keep changing it.
Yeah, they changed it, so now what it is what's that?
Oh, okay. Oh, so it's actually an actual command. It's not like
It's
an
a send
actual.
command, yeah.
Oh, well, that's cool. Alright. Canine heal. Canine attack. Not the handler.
Yeah, perfect.
I guess that's not supposed to happen sometimes.
Alrighty,
Poor
you guys
Carson.
perfect on that, so give me 2 seconds to look at the next one. Okay, so the next thing is my favorite part, which is the canine cover command. Alright, so this is not necessarily a basic canine command, it's a different canine command. So for this instance, you would say canine cover, or Jesse cover, or Katie cover, anything like that. And what you would do is your canine would come up to the front fender like this, and obviously execute the canine sit command. So they would be behind the tires, while the handler would be at the rear side on the left. I forget what it's called. They tell exactly what it's called. I'm an idiot.
Wheel?
Dogs go in the up front fender and sit behind the front wheel. Canine handlers go to the back fender behind the back wheel. Alright, the reason they go behind the wheel is if Katie wants to light up the car. There you go. See? So they can't get my feet. They can't get Carson's feet at all. And that's due to the fact that they are behind the tire. The tire's protecting them from that. Alrighty. Alright, so what's going to happen now is I am going to... Actually, we're not really going to do the shoot thing since we don't have that many people, so it's not really necessary at the moment. So, Katie, if you want to go first, just pretty much execute the canine cover command.
Can I cover?
Alright, perfect. Carson, if you want to do it as well,
Alright. Ready?
whenever you are.
Canine cover.
Alright, perfect.
Hey, can somebody put their head... Yeah, Carson, can you stand up at the back rear window? I want to see if it actually goes through. I think there's a hitbox on the back rear windows are actually solid. Yeah, but the bullets aren't going through. I tried to shoot you through the back windows, the side windows, and I think the hitbox is a solid piece instead of the windows.
Yeah.
Alright.
Oh,
Okay.
well.
So, I say this every time I do a training, but obviously this is a training experience, and you have all the time in the world to get behind the cover, right? So you don't actually have bank robbers or anything coming out of the bank and shooting at you. But in a real situation, the bank robbers, whoever's going to try to shoot at you or try to attack you or try to harm you, is obviously not going to wait for you. They're just going to start shooting. So what that means is you have to execute the cover command, and both you and your cannon are going to have to get behind the wheels, get behind the cover as fast as you can. Alright?
On this other, for the record, this vehicle is a lot higher than the other ones. The reason why you have them sit is because the head of the dog goes slightly down when you sit the canine dog down.
Alright, so, let's see. Okay, potential medical complications. Alright, canine handlers should be informed of potential dangers of sending their canines on a person and inform them of potential special situations. So, examples of those situations are going to be like allergies, mental channel suspects, stuff like that. I can't speak. Alright, so basically what that means is if I was responding with my canine to a scene regarding a mentally disabled person or someone who had a allergic or allergy to canines, I should be informed of that before sending my dog in there. Though this does not exclude me from sending my canine to a mentally challenged suspect or a suspect with canine allergies, due to the fact that we both have EMS that we could call, as well as canine handlers always carry an EpiPen in the back of their canine vehicle. So Once again, you can respond to those things. You should be informed. 9 out of 10 times they forget to inform you, but you should be informed of that. And even though they might have an allergy or something like that, that does not mean you cannot send your canine in there. You just have to proceed with caution. All right. This one I'm going to go over in a lot of detail since a lot of people seem to be ignoring it, and since we do have a new system or punishment system, there are going to be punishments that are going to be getting handed out a lot more regularly for dumb stuff like this, so you guys should pay attention to this. Alright, all canine handlers and dogs are to be aware that they do not attack everyone that comes to pet them. They may growl or put their ears back, but they should never attack, especially towards LEO, fire, and EMS. Okay, so basically what this means is if you have your canine dog next to you, right, on a bank scene or any scene whatsoever, or not even on a scene at all, and some rando or some officer or fire EMS comes up and pets your canine or asks to pet your canine, if they ask to pet your canine, you can politely say no, or if you're feeling generous, you can say sure. So, but if they just walk up and pet your dog is not to attack, and you are not to send your dog, so you're not to execute the bite command for someone who walks up and pets your dog, right? You can politely ask them to back off or do not pet my canine. It's a working dog. But yeah, you should not be, if you are a canine, you should not be biting, and if you are a canine handler, you should not be executing the bite command on someone who walks up and pets your dog. Number 1, it's unprofessional. Number 2, it is breaking our policies, alright? Alright, so yes, canines are working dogs, but that does not mean they are always attacking dogs. Canines should be able to be taken into public and be able to tolerate contact from other people. The dogs may be wary of strangers, but never attack unless told to. They are passive canines. Failure to abide by this obviously will result in discipline. Okay, so that's gonna finish up our first little segment. If everyone wants to take down to the the Toledo Forest DNR station, if you do not know where that is, give me 2 seconds and you can TP to me. Alright, everyone may TP to me. And revive me if you could, because I killed myself. Okay, perfect. So I am in a rush, so I gotta go through these a little bit urgent, but where's the little tree I usually craft this shit into? Okay, so I'm going to read this scenario to you, so pay attention. Recent 911 call comes in about a missing hiker that has been away for nearly a week. The only information you receive is a brief description and that their vehicle is at the bottom of the Chiliad mountain trail. And there's other place their canines on leash and begin a search for the person. Canines are to sniff the vehicle or human scent to begin their track. If no scent comes up, simply stay with the handler. When the suspect is located, the dog is to remain alert and the handler must announce their presence. Right? So this is pretty much how it goes, right? We respond on the scene, we come up and we find the vehicle or a piece of clothing or something like that, something that's going to give us a scent, and the canine is going to execute a command, something like this. Yeah, pretty much. Alright, for this instance, you would use the /GMA, as well as at the end you would remind them to use /GMA. Actually, let me pull this up quickly. If everyone wants to look in here, I'm going to post that for you. Let me know if you guys have access to read and see that. Alright, so that's just the basic little thing I whipped up last time I was doing our training, but feel free to use this whenever you want. So at the very top, we have just a reminder, post location car with the proper information. and then you have your I call them adverts, so little advertisements to let people know canines available north, south, and statewide. And then below that you have the stuff for vehicle searches. So with this one, or for the top two, those are respond with GMEs. So use the GME command. GME basically is a global me. So if you ever do a /me command and someone's out of the proximity, they're not going to see it. So that's why we use GME for stuff like vehicle searches when the suspect's at a distance, as well as searching for signs and stuff like that. Alright, so for instance, we can do canines, where is it? Oh, I don't think I put one in there. I'll have to do that. Oh. I don't think I put a sent one in there. I'll have to add that. But, oh, never mind, it is.
So pretty much what's gonna happen is that once you do the whole like /GME, do it, Snips Black Butt Muscle Car at Paleto Forest at postal or like nearest postal 3003, please respond to GME. Pretty much like that. What they're gonna do is they're gonna do /GME yes or /GME no, and you're gonna see the name will pop up to who you're supposed to be following. And at that point, if they say yes, the dog is allowed to go in the F1 menu and pin their location and then follow where they are. But make sure your handler can keep up with you because you do run faster than the handler.
Yep, pretty much. So what happened was I just put canine Snips Black 2-door on Chiliad Trail. Do I get a sun response with Jimmy? So basically what I'm doing is I'm just letting him know that the canine is sniffing, as well as the vehicle, a basic vehicle description. Same thing goes with regular GSRP policies. When you're calling it a 1080 or a codified stop for a vehicle description, you shouldn't be saying a black Voodoo or a black sedan or something like that. You should be saying black 2-door sports car, something along those lines.
The more descriptive you are, the better.
In a way. So the same thing goes with this. So you should be saying canine sniffs black 2-door sports car or something along the lines of that.
Okay.
You're also giving a general location, so Chiliad Trail, and you're also telling them if you get a send as well as respond with GME. A lot of people don't know how to use the GME command or what it does, so you're just reminding them to use GME rather than /me. Okay, so so for this instance, obviously the suspect's going to respond with /GME yes or no. So in this instance, they said yes. So since we don't really have anyone to go anywhere, we're just going to pretend for this little scenario that the suspect's in that bush right over there. That second tree. So canine, there's no search command, there's no go command, there's not anything like that. As soon as your canine receives a scent, they're free to just run. As Kitty said before, you should also be your canine. This is not really for you guys, but the canine should be keeping a general distance, but not leaving your handler in the dust, because the canine dogs are all a lot faster than the handlers. All right. So, I believe I can't remember which scenario this was. Okay. So, let's say the suspect is in this bush. Canines remain alert. Your canine's going to sit here. A lot of times they go into a bark and hole. So what that means is just sit there, bark, watch for any sudden movements or anything like that. But since this is a missing hike, that's not really required. All right. So, okay. So while you're walking around the general location, right? So for this instance, I do have my canine on a leash. You can just use /me puts canine on leash or something like that. And then you walk around at kind of leash distance, not too close because you might trip your handler up. But when you get around the area of when your suspects start slowing down and walking around in circles, walking around the general area, you can start announcing your presence as State Patrol Canine Unit, make yourself known, that kind of stuff like that. Just making sure the suspect knows that you are a canine unit and making them know that you're there so they can come out. Alright, so if everyone wants to come back to the car over here, I'm going to hop into a canine pad. What's your name? Carson, if you want to go first. Sure. So essentially, you're just going to use the sniff command. Canine's going to sniff the vehicle, and then you are going to track the suspect, which we're just going to... Okay, you want to do it, Cody? Just go hide in the bush nearby.
Alright, so you want me to act like we just stopped? Am I acting like we just stopped, or do you want me to continue with you just going after her?
No, you didn't say where Kitty went.
Oh, okay.
So remember, we're just using the sniff command.
Alright.
Yep.
Canine heal. Canine sniff.
Make sure when we get around the area, we're announcing your presence.
Jurisdictional canine unit, come out with your hands up.
I don't want to.
Jurisdictional canine unit, come out.
Alright, perfect. So, your canine was aware. Was your, Chip, what's the word for it? Alert. There it goes. I don't know why I had a brain fart there, but your canine was remaining alert, as well as the handler was remaining alert, calling out perfectly, making the suspect know that they're there and they should come out. So, you did perfect, Kitty, if you want to go next.
I actually have a quick question.
Yep, go for it.
So, like, say it's really slow and we haven't had any calls for canine or anything. Can we, like, take the dog out and play with them or no?
I personally, I've done it multiple times with handlers, so I would say it's okay as long as you're not the entire patrol. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
if it's for like just 1 or 2 minutes and you're just hanging out with your canine, do something like that. A lot of times when I do a canine patrol or something, I like to go to like a pretty location and take like a screenshot or something like that. So that's okay to do that. Just make sure you're not turning the entire patrol into something like that. You're actually patrolling and looking for calls and that kind of stuff like that. But yeah.
Can I heal?
Alrighty.
Can I sniff?
Carson, if you just want to F2 above us. And let's just pretend that the suspect is going to be up the hill. Let me actually get a quick line. Right here in this bush over there.
Alright, so he's in behind.
That's why you have Ragdoll on.
This is the police. Come with your hands up.
Yep, pretty much. I would recommend that when you are announcing presence, I would recommend you include some type of something letting them know that you're a canine, due to the fact that if they become aggressive or something like that, they know that they shouldn't try anything stupid because the canine's going to bite them. So, in these next two scenarios, in the next two scenarios, you're going to be able to realize why you should say, like, just take canine unit, that kind of stuff like that. But, yep, you guys did perfect. So is there any questions you have on the scenario one?
Actually, I have one question.
Go for it.
So, like, can we say, like, something along the lines, like, we'll send the dog if you don't comply?
Alright, perfect question. For this instance, since it was a missing hiker that's been missing for a week, I recommend that you don't say that. Though you're not exempt to do that, but I would recommend that you don't say something like that. But again, for these next two examples, to hear why you should say that. So there's different scenarios and different situations on when you should say that kind of stuff and when you shouldn't.
Like, don't do it during a bank robbery.
Yeah, you'll see why in this next example, right? So, suspect begins to run on foot and at first seems to have no intentions to stop. The handlers to announce their presence is State Patrol Canine Unit. If you do not stop, a dog will bite you. If the suspect fails to stop, the canine is to be sent on the suspect. If the suspect stops and puts their hands up, after you release the dog, you as a handler are to recall your dog back to you. The canine should stop their chase immediately and return to the side of the handler. This is called a recall. It's an emergency training procedure in which the canine is called back from a bite command. The canine would stop in their tracks and return directly to the handler. The canine may be resent if the suspect chooses to run again, most often used when the suspect gives up after a canine is deployed. Okay, so this is a pretty easy thing, right? I every time I do this training, I give this example. It's pretty much like trigger discipline for both you and your canine, right? So when you so the suspect here, I'll give a quick example. If I could. There we go. Okay, so say I'm the suspect, right, and I'm evading arrest. I'm running away from Connor, or Carson, I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm calling you Connor. Alright, so Carson's just walking behind me. He's gonna start alerting himself, saying, like, George State Patrol Canine Unit, stop her, I'm gonna send the dog. He's gonna say that multiple times, give the suspect, or the person multiple warnings, multiple chances to stop. If the suspect continues to run away, Carson would execute the bite command. He would say, canine bite. Alright, Katie would come over here, and she would try to bite me. Alright, now I put my hands up or something like that. If I stopped, Carson would call the canine back. He would say, Katie, heel. Katie would return right back to the side of the handler, and then you would, once again, point a taser, do something like that, and give commands, like, get on the ground, stop running, face away, stuff like that. Right? So pretty much it's just a recall. So you can use your canine if the suspect chooses to run again. Exactly. And then if the suspect surrenders, does something like that, you immediately say canine heel. Perfect. Alright, so do you have any questions before we start that exercise?
No.
Alright, perfect.
This is actually a lot more hands-on.
Yeah, I get that a lot for this training, but yeah, the canine training is a lot more hands-on, and I think it's better in that way. You learn a lot more for hands-on experiences rather than just doing a test or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Alright. Okay, so, Katie, you want to get butt? Hopping a ped. Oh, jeez.
My bad.
Okay, so, whenever you're ready. Katie, if you just want to start walking, then start running, and then obviously surrender at some point.
Canine heel. George State Patrol Canine Unit. If you don't stop, I'm gonna send the dog, alright? Go ahead and stop for me. Canine bite. Canine heel. Ma'am, go ahead and get on the ground for me. Go ahead and put your hands up. Canine bite. Canine heel.
Alright, perfect. I remember the first training I did with someone, I just did that like 20 times. It was the funniest shit ever. Alright, but yeah, you did perfect. Alright, Kitty, if you want to hop into, or, never mind. Carson, you probably want to get bit, don't you?
Yes.
Ready when you are. Canine heel. This is Georgia said canine, please just stop rest. I would send the dog after you. Canine heel. Canine bite. Canine heel. Go on your knees. Where's the dog? Where the dog will come after you. Can I bite?
Controls are really delayed for me on the training server for some reason.
Can I heal?
Nah, bitch, I'm biting you. Alright, perfect. You guys both did excellent on that. Let me just check messages, make sure I'm not getting...
The fight was pretty good.
Alright. Let us see. Alright, so that's pretty much it for the second scenario. We just got 2 more and you guys are going to be free to go. Alright, any questions on the recall?
No.
Alright, perfect. Alright, so if everyone wants to yeet back over to the black vehicle. Actually, if you guys would excuse me for 2 minutes, I gotta go grab something. Alrighty, I'm back. Okay. Okay, so a suspect abandons their vehicle after leaving police out in pursuit. You know the suspect couldn't have gone far from the scene and very well may be heading within a nearby bush. Handlers are to have their dogs on a leash and start doing a search in the area for the suspect, announcing the presence as, once again, Steve Joe Canine Unit, and ensuring the suspect knows that if they attempt to run or resist, a canine will be sent to bite them. So once again, just like the last scenario, we're going to be saying something like, State Patrol Canine Unit, if you run or resist, canine's going to bite you. Just something along those lines, just letting them know that you were active canine, and if they try to run or resist, the canine is going to be sent to bite them. Alright. Obviously... Okay. Once the canine finds the suspect, canine has to go into a bark and hold. A unit would then move into detain the suspect once the dog is recalled. Alright. So, for this example, say that the suspect is in that bush right in front of me. Alright. So, handler's going to do their thing. They're going to, handler's going to walk us around, same thing, getting a scent, that kind of thing like that. But once we get to the bush, canine's going to go into what's called a bark and hold. So you can either bark in your mind if you feel comfortable or something like that, or you can do /me barks, or you can do /canine bark, which is a very glitchy command when your canine kind of sits up or leans on
like stands on
nothing.
hind legs.
Pretty much, yeah. But it's a very glitchy thing. But essentially, when you would get to the distance, you would announce your presence as State Patrol Canine Unit. If you try to run, the canine's going to be sent to bite you. Come out with your hands up. And then, while the canine's in what's called a bark and hold, which means the canine's being super alert, watching the bush really closely and waiting for them to make a move. So if the suspect moves or something stupid, then Karsten would be like, canine bite, and the canine would obviously stop what he's doing and bolt into the bush and bite him, right? But if the suspect was being compliant, another unit or Karsten himself, because he's the only one on scene, would go into cuff the suspect, while the canine would still be on a bark and hold. After that, canine can be recalled using the heal command. Any questions on that before we start?
No.
Alright.
Canine sniff. Georgia State Patrol Canine Unit, come out with your hands up.
No.
No? Alright. If you don't come out. Canine fight!
Alright, good. So in this instance, obviously the suspect is incompliant and pulled a gun or does something stupid like that, and then the canine bit the suspect. Perfect. So, in a different scenario, let's say that the suspect was compliant, and they came out with their hands up, the canine would continue to remain in a bark and hold just in case they're trying to run, evade, or do something dumb. And then the canine would be sent to bite if they tried to run or evade or do something like that. And if they chose to be compliant, the canine would be called back using the heal, just like the recall command. The canine would go right back to the side of the handler, and then they would continue with either detaining or arresting or doing whatever to the suspect. Alright, Katie, if you want to be the canine, Carson, you can go ahead and go into a bush. So for this time, you're going to be passive.
Canine heal. Canine sniff. It's Georgia State Canine. Come up with your hands up, or else we have to send the dog after you.
No.
If you don't come out, the dog will have to come after you.
Sucks.
Canine bite.
Alright, perfect. Alright, so obviously in this instance, once again, the suspect was incompliant, and he left, or he attempted to run his sister fate, just like the canine handler described. If he did something like that, he would be, or the dog would be sent in to bite him. So, you guys both did good on that? Alright. So this is going to be the last one. If everyone wants to come back over to the vehicle. Stand by while I set this up.
Oh, yeah, Jessica, I have a question.
Go for it.
Alright, so when, like, say we have them, like, when we're about to spawn our vehicles and we have our canine, are we allowed to use the actual canine vehicles?
Oh, you mean like when you get your
Yeah.
ride-along done and shit like that?
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, obviously you're gonna be canine units.
Okay.
So you will not be able to use Slick Top or anything, you'll have to use the regular ones.
Yeah.
So just make sure you're following your, rank, or your rank, whatever it's fucking called. You can see it in policies and forms.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so, for this example, I will I'll show you that. Alright, so you have stopped a vehicle for speeding. Upon approach to the vehicle, you detect an odor of marijuana. You are to carry your stop out as you normally would. After running the suspect's information, you are to have your canine search around the vehicle. Canines will post a phrase similar to the following chat for the canine respond to. /me Smith, what do I smell? If the canine sits next to the vehicle, it's known as a hit. A hit gives you probable cause to get the suspect out of the vehicle, detain them, and proceed to search the vehicle. Handlers are to notify the suspect that their dog has alerted on something inside of the vehicle. Handlers would then proceed to search the vehicle to conclude the traffic stop as normal. Please keep in mind, handlers can't transport suspects and must call an additional if they are needing a person transport. Once again, a hit is a positive alert from a canine signifying that there's a firearm, narcotics, or explosives hidden inside what is being searched. A hit will give you probable cause or a reason to search without a warrant being required. Anything the suspect is found to have that is legal, the suspect can be charged for. Alright, so this is pretty self-explanatory. This is just going to be a scenario where I pulled this dude over for speeding. When I purchased the vehicle, I smell marijuana or something on the vehicle. You guys have been troopers or cadets or whatever for a while, so you guys know that, or you've probably been on a scene where something posted, or when you were up next to their vehicle, they posted something similar to something like that. But you didn't really have any probable cause, so you just kind of had to rip them out of the vehicle, something like that. Canine is, at the end of the day, you are normal units. You are still a trooper, a sergeant, a cadet, anything like that. You still are normal units, though you have canine as a accessory to use, though you should not be using it for just dumb shit, right? So, for this example, Kitty, if you want to just hop in the car. Alright, for this example, we'll pull this dude over for speeding, right? On Toledo Boulevard, he was going 200 miles per hour in a 60 mile per hour zone, and somehow in Georgia State that's illegal, right? So I walk up to the vehicle, and you do your regular traffic stop. Yeah. Once again, if you're a normal unit at the end of the day, canine is just an accessory. So I would just carry this up as I normally would. So if the suspect didn't say anything like touch me, smells weed or anything, I can just carry this up as normal. Once again, you're normally at the end of the day. There's no reason to pull out your canine and just search the vehicle for no reason. So it's an accessory, right? So, how you doing, sir? JC James with the Georgia State Patrol Canine Division. Do you know I'm pulling you over today? No. Right, I'm pulling you over because you were traveling 200 miles per hour in a 60 mile per hour zone back on Toledo Boulevard. Any reason for that? Nope. Alright, can I get some license registration proof of insurance, please? Yep, I smell something coming off of the vehicle. Therefore, I'm going to collect his identification, go back and run the identification. Once again, this is all optional. The order in which you do stuff is optional. In some points, obviously, you're still going to have to follow policy and not do any dumb decisions. But for my instance, if someone smells something, I'm not just going to be like, get out of the vehicle. I'm running my canine around it. What I'll do is I will run their information, make sure it's all clear. Before I want to get them out of the vehicle or anything like that, I want to make sure they don't have any warrants in CAT or something like that. So what I would do is I would collect their identification, go back in here, and either or I would first go into the CAT and run their identification. Nothing came back, then I would obviously use the run command, right? So I ran this guy's information, came back clear, there's no warrants or anything like that, right? Then I would proceed to get my canine out of the vehicle. So Katie out. Katie sit. So my canine would sit there. So now I basically have a sniper waiting to attack right there. So just kind of waiting back in the car, out of danger zone. One thing that I will say, just in general, it doesn't really imply, or it does imply to you, I guess, but canines are, once again, we treat them like law enforcement officers, therefore they still have to follow basic Georgia State Patrol policies, right? So what that means is you still can't walk into the danger zone, even if you're a canine, right? The outcome of getting smashed by a car still applies to you. Right, so I go up to the vehicle. Right, sir, I'm detecting some form of narcotic coming off the vehicle. If I could have you step out, right? So the suspect steps out. I have him lean on the vehicle right here. Usually by this time I would have had another 32 here, which is an additional, so I would have another additional here, waiting with the suspect, making sure he doesn't try to bolt or run or anything like that. And I would proceed to call my canine, so Katie Hill. My canine would come up to the vehicle with me, and then I would execute the sniff command like we did earlier. So canine sniff. Since this time, since the suspect is in the vicinity, because he's right there, you don't have to do GMA, right? If you're doing GMA, it's just gonna waste space in the chat, just like OOC. So you should be doing that if the suspect's in the vicinity, which means if they're in range, right? Now, if the suspect was on the moon or way over there or somewhere in a bush, then obviously you're going to use GME. But for this instance, since they're close to you, you're going to be using /man, right? So, sniffs car, what do I smell? The suspect will respond with whatever they find in there, or whatever the canine sniffs, right? So, this is not, when you're doing this, this is not sending your canine into the vehicle, it's not your canine searching inside of the vehicle, this is just your canine sniffing the exterior of the vehicle. Alright, so now, canine smells weed, so what the canine is going to do is use the sit command.
Woof, woof, woof.
Perfect. A sit signifies that there is a hit, just like I explained earlier, and then you would proceed to detain the suspect and search the vehicle. Alright, after searching the vehicle, you can proceed to the stop as you normally would, right? So if you found marijuana or something like that, then you would just proceed, once again, you would place your canine back in the vehicle, so Katie in. And then you would proceed to carry out the stop as you normally would, right? Whether that be calling DPS and having them weigh and transport the narcotics, or doing it yourself, all that kind of stuff. After you utilize your canine, once again, you're still a law enforcement officer, so you can carry out your duties as you normally would, right? Any questions before you guys start? Alright, so once again, for this instance, we don't really need anyone to be the suspect, right? What we're going to do is I'm going to be the canine dog, right? I'm going to be ghosting, pretty much. I'm going to be two people at once. I'm going to be your canine. I'm going to be voiceover as well as the suspect in the vehicle, right? So, Katie, if you want to go first.
Canine in. Canine out, canine stay. Also, you won't be saying this over RTO, doing your commands to the dog over RTO, unless it is absolutely urgent. You should never talk to your dog in RTO.
I mean, you shouldn't be saying anything to your canine in RTO in general. If you're out of the vicinity, your canine doesn't have a radio strapped on them. They're not going to hear RTO. So. Yeah,
it's just going to be one of those that you have to, like, try to communicate with them.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, Paul, did you go over? You're going 85 and a 60, going a little bit fast. I want to make sure everything's all good. Go ahead and get your license, registration, insurance, and I will run it and see where it goes.
Alright.
All right, let me run your information. We can get back to you as soon as possible.
So, not to interrupt, but I will point this out quickly. Just as I said earlier, as long as you're following the basic policies of both K9 and GSRP, it doesn't really matter what order you do stuff in, as long as it's realistic. So for this instance, Katie decided to get me out just as kind of a backup, just in case the suspect decided to get out and do something stupid like that, which is completely fine. Last time, or when I did the stop at least, I got the K9 out last after when I smelled the thing, which is, again, a good thing you can do, but once again, as long as you're following both K9 policies as well as GSRP, it doesn't really matter what order.
Alright, so I smelled some stuff coming from your vehicle. I smelled some weed. I'm going to go ahead and just get you out of the vehicle and have my dog sniff around it. So just make sure, maybe just residue, or maybe actually have something in there.
Alrighty.
Thank you for coming out. I'm going to cuff you to the ram bar. You're going to sit down there. Thank you very much for cooperating. K9 heel. K9 sniff. Oh, right now I'm going to be arresting you for having drugs on you. K9 heel. K9 in.
But there is one thing I do want to point out for this instance. I know it was kind of like an rush and that kind of stuff like that, but you wouldn't be arresting the suspect automatically if your canine alerted something. Your canine, I'm just pointing out, but your canine is alerting something. They're not, once again, they're not in the vehicle. They didn't find something. So alert does give you probable cause to search the vehicle, though it does not give you probable cause to arrest the person. Though if the canine does alert, you are free to detain the suspect. I know, once again, it's it doesn't matter like what order you do it in as long as it's realistic. So Katie, for instance, she decided to cuff or detain the person before the canine search, which is completely fine. You can do that if there's no available 32s. Just cuff them to the room bar, make sure they don't run it. Your canine alerts them and they get spooked. So for this instance, since the canine alerted to something, Katie would then proceed to search the vehicle, right? But you guys both did perfect on that. Do you guys have any questions? Oh, actually, shit. Preston has to do it. My bad.
Yeah, I was so confused.
Sorry, man.
You're talking in game?
Yeah. Actually, I'll do it over TS.
I couldn't actually hear anything you were saying.
Oh, okay. Oh, man.
Hello, officer?
Over the speed.
Oh, it's going that fast. I was going like 95.
Alright. It's still over the speed limit, so can I go ahead and get your license registration proof of insurance?
Yeah, here you go. Here's my name.
Alright, Mr. Fart, tell me your bag there, right?
Driver, go ahead and step out for me.
Why?
Or sorry, driver, go ahead and step out.
What do you want me to step out?
Because I'm telling you to. Alright. Can you just go ahead and go sit in front of my ram bar? Thank you, ma'am. If you can go ahead and go sit in front of my ram bar, that'd be great. Thank you. Canine heel. Canine sniff.
Normally, the person would say like smells weed or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
But
Alright.
there, we go, perfect. All right. So obviously, just as I said earlier, you would continue and then search the vehicle, do whatever you would, finish the stop. But you guys both did perfect on that. That was the last part of our training. So does was it? Yeah, it was. That was the last part of our training. So does anyone have any questions about anything whatsoever? Nothing? Okay. Alright, if you do have any questions, chain of command still implies we have our own chain of command, which is going to be either canine dog or handler, which you will be eventually, to canine corporal. Canine corporal goes to a supervisor. Supervisor goes to a deputy commander. Deputy commander goes into a what's the next one? I should know this. Deputy commander goes to a.
Amanda?
No, I knew. I'm smart. Deputy commander goes to assistant commander. Assistant commander goes to an executive, and executive goes to commander, which is Wolfie. All right. So, once again, chain of command full five, so just be following it. All right. So you guys have now finished your your training, right? So after this, you have to complete a ride-along, which you can find. Our people will usually say like, "Hey, does anyone need a ride-along?" in the applicant chat, right? Let's see. Yep. So you'll have to get your ride-along, so people will announce it in the applicant chat, or you can go into the applicant chat. Don't be adding any ranks, so don't like add command or add whatever. Just be like, "Hey, can anyone do my ride-along?" And they'll either respond with yes, or they'll just kind of ignore you. You're good.
Hey,
Alright.
Jessica, actually, can you help me with the ped? Like, get all the MP shit sorted, or
Oh
no?
yeah, I was just about to offer if you guys wanted to send. I'll send you a screenshot of the numbers if you want, Katie.
Alright, cool. Yeah,
Okay.
no, I had videos in before that I could search through as well. I know I have videos of
Okay.
being this before, but yeah, a picture would help for the numbers. Because I don't remember exactly what they were.
Alright, so after you complete the ride-along, which the ride-along will basically consist of like priority in a couple stops, something like that. I believe there's a list somewhere of what it is.
Yes, there is.
But with the ride-along, you will pay attention to how well the training, how well you guys do the commands, go through normal 10-11s, and respond to scenes. Right? And you'll get more information on about how to do logs and all that kind of stuff after that, right?
Alright, thank you.
Yep. If you don't need anything else, you are free to go. Carson, feel free to stick around while I give you the numbers.
Have a good one. Thank you for the training.
Yep, no problem.
Channel switched.